Welcome to What's Your Story, where we, Jamie Marco,
and Stan Brown.
delve into the extraordinary lives of everyday people.
Listen in as we uncover the unique tales that shape who we are.
One story at a time.
Hey, let's get ready to explore today's story.
Let's do it. Don't talk about that. Hi, Dad.
I'm fired up.
You are fired up. You're very bright today.
I'm bright every day. Some days I transmit in black and white, and some days I transmit in color.
Did you hear what your granddaughter said to you on the phone when she said, Grandpa, you're always happy?
Yeah, was she talking to me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
What do
Well,
you
as they say in political circles, what does happy really mean?
So I want to bring up a topic with you today before we get into our call, because we have our guest today probably knows a lot about like etiquette and different ways
Oh,
to.
like I don't?
No, you do. You do. But I wanted to kind of share with you something that frustrated me. And I'm all about shedding my funk, but listen, I get funk as well too, and that's why I have to shed
When
it.
you shed it, where does it go? Is it a funk collector?
No, it just gets destroyed because I don't want it going back out into the universe to like hurt somebody
It kind of
else.
gets like shredded.
Yeah,
Shredding your
dissolves.
Oh, shredding and dissolving my funk. Okay.
Shedding.
Shredding?
I could call it shredding, but shedding. But so anyway, so I recently had referred somebody to one of my clients and gotten them some business and referred it to them.
Very nice thing.
Hey,
With no ulterior motive.
no, not, and I don't really like to always refer people, and this is why, is that unless I've actually seen your work or experienced
You've got
it,
personal experience, you know what you're doing, sure.
right? But this person was like really trying to build up their business and said, you know what, I can just make the connection and then you can do your thing.
So one could say you had empathy for this person.
Yes, I have empathy for a lot of people. I actually think I'm an empath, and so that's why I'm always so exhausted because all the energy that I'm feeling around the world. But anywho, I digress.
We're going to work on
I know. So I referred, they got the job.
it. Wow, great.
Yeah, and I think I've been repeatedly brought back to do some things with them. I've never been told thank you.
Bullshit.
Right?
Bullshit.
Isn't that rude? Is that just me like thinking that that's rude, or is that actually rude?
If you were a true empath, I think you wouldn't care.
No.
You're a human empath.
Okay, all right. But I just feel like here's the thing. If someone
Yeah,
refers
that
me
was that was a big
business,
break. Sure, absolutely.
yeah, well, and like, whatever. But if someone refers me business, then I typically immediately, whether I've gotten the business or not, will immediately send them like something just saying, hey, like a thank you card with a little like note or like
Oh,
a
sure.
card
Just something.
saying, listen, you thought of me. Like that's huge. But then if I actually get the business as well too, then I want to go above and beyond to do something for them
Yeah,
and say
most
thank
people are in
you.
a manner-free zone.
What do you mean by that?
They just care about themselves. I told you
Oh,
before, everything in life is subjectivity, objectivity. They're thinking just of themselves. This was great for me. You gave them the position, but it's objective to you. What did you gain from this?
yeah,
You gain the pleasure of giving someone some work. But
yeah.
they have no awareness of the situation. They have a
Yeah.
lot, they have a lot of spiritual work to do.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you can't just always be like, give me, give me, give me. And we've seen that with other people in our lives. They're always like, give me, give me, give me, but
You,
never
you
like,
want the dad solution for this?
yeah.
I would send her your welcome letter. Not a thank you letter. It's the best.
Oh, you're welcome gift or
And
just a
just,
letter?
no, no gifts, please. Well, I can think of a couple of gifts, but they may not pass U.S. Postal Service requirements.
I feel like I could just get like a Maui doll from Moana and be like, you're welcome. Ba-da, ba-da, ba-da,
Why do you
ba-da.
think there are so many poop emojis out there?
Okay. On that note, we're just gonna bring her in.
The universe, they're agreeing. I can hear it. They're agreeing with
I think
me. Bullshit.
and let's bring our guest in. Really cool listener. I've known my guest for my hair in my mouth. Ooh, that's what happens with curly hair. I have had known our guest for a very long time.
I have not.
Correct. But you have your 6 degrees of separation. We talked about that Denise had
Kevin Bacon's on this morning. This is great.
no, but we learned from Denise Kotler that there's 50% chance you are connected back to this person by 6 degrees of separation, and you are.
She was pretty credible. Yeah.
Yeah. So all right, let's let her in. Okay, here we go.
What's her name?
Well, I think I don't know what she wants to go by.
No name. That was Clint Eastwood, the movie, The Man with No Name.
Well, so I know her as Coley, but I think she goes by Nicole now, and so I'm not 100%
How
sure.
about Holy Coley?
We can call her Holy. Hi, you're
Hooray!
mute. So come off mute. We have you on mute. We are recording right now. So we did our pre-show chat, and my dad was like, "Who's on?" I'm like, "Well, I don't really know what name she prefers because I think professionally you go by Nicole, but I knew you always as Coley. So what?
Not a pronoun, just a regular
Shut
name.
up.
Either's fine. I mean, everyone still calls me Coley, like from, growing up and stuff and like my family and all that. And then most people call me Nicole with work just because it's a lot easier.
Oh,
Sometimes always
But
call.
both are completely fine.
well, it's
If
so good to
you
see
had been a
you.
minister, you'd be holy coly.
Okay, enough
Yeah,
with the whole Coley.
I'm sorry.
I've actually never heard that before.
Yeah, and you never need to hear it again.
I know. You can't unhear it.
Oh my goodness. First of all, thank you for being our guest. We're happy to have you. We are recording right now, so this will be part of your interview. I always like to say that because we had one guest who was like, "When did we start recording?" And we were like, "We've been recording for the last 30 minutes."
And
We did say recording now, so I
we
picked up
don't
on
edit.
that.
No edit.
Yeah, and we are unfiltered. But so I was telling our listener and my dad that you and I have known each other for quite some time. My dad actually knows your mom
Yes.
from the real estate days. But we're so happy to have you. We'll get into your story. We typically start with a simple question to ask you where you're at. I know you had a meeting this morning and you maybe rushed home, so thank you.
Mhm.
But we're going to ask you this question and we'll lead in from there. So, what is your number today on a scale of 1 to 10? 10 being it is the best day you've ever had. You don't have a worry in the world, nothing is bothering you. To
Okay.
1 being you probably should not be out peopling. And we know what you do. So, we know that like you are with people all the time. What's your number right now?
I would probably say an 8 right now.
Oh, it must have been a good meeting this morning.
Well, I mean, I feel like things are usually pretty good. I'm not going higher because it's still like a normal work day, but I'm also really behind from yesterday. So, because we were in Boca Grande with clients all day and I just got really behind on email. So that's why I'm going to go with an 8.
Got it. So, what would it take to go from an 8 to an 8.25?
Oh, 8.25. Maybe being on top of all my emails.
All right, we'll get you back to that in like 45 minutes.
There's a
Yeah.
button that helps you do that.
Mhm.
What, like
It
delete?
rhymes with repeat.
Yeah. Oh, why don't I do that more?
If only. Well, I imagine you get bombarded by so many questions, and we'll get to that first. But let's
Mhm.
start with you. Listen, you weren't always where you are today. And the whole goal of our podcast is to learn people's stories and how they evolved over time and got to where they are. And I think your story is like multifaceted because I know that you're married to someone you've known for a very long time and how you all met, but I think that's part of like the end. Let's start from the beginning. And not like we have 45 minutes. So it's not like this is your life, Coley, tell us everything.
Right.
Were you born? And actually, I don't know this. Were you born in Sarasota?
Yeah, I was born in Sarasota. I grew up in the Landings. I went to the same elementary school my kids go to. So,
Oh, wow.
yeah, I live on Philippi Creek,
And you have
and
the same teacher still there?
I
That'd be
don't
a long time.
know.
Yeah, that'd
I
be a long
think it
time.
was a bit of a stretch. No,
Um,
I don't
Well,
think
it's
so.
funny.
But
My daughter's music teacher, her son's godson was my music teacher in elementary school.
oh yeah,
He knows him, and he only retired, I think, like maybe 6 years ago.
yeah.
Oh, which is crazy. It's like such a small world.
Yeah, it is. And actually at like school drop off in the mornings, I see a lot of people that we grew up with, like a lot. If maybe I didn't go to elementary school with, there are some, but definitely ones that like we went to high school with for sure. That's very common that we'll see a bunch of friends at events for school and we all grew up together, which I mean, when you live in a really great community, it's good to come back, it's different. Like we live in a beautiful place and we live in a place people want to be at. So it's desirable to live here. So if you grew up here, it's like, well, why not come back and be where your family is? And it's also an amazing place.
Yeah. So you, after high school, where did you go to? You went to school after high school, right?
I went to UF. Yeah.
So you went to Gainesville, and then you were there for your time there. And then did you come back right after that? After a little bit?
I opened a business there. I opened a yoga studio. And I ran that for 2 years and it was amazing and like really got my interest in events too, because it wasn't just a yoga studio. As much as I love to teach, we did art openings. We had DJs come in. It was really fun, like very free flowing environment. And then I moved back to Sarasota and I started working in the event industry and that was great. And I like definitely got my feet wet with and met so many people, which made it really easy to work into my career now because I already knew people.
Yeah.
And then I opened the Whole Foods Market in Sarasota as the marketing director. I did that. And then we did move to DC for a bit, which was great and had that big city experience. And then I kept my business through that time though, and I would just go back and forth. Dustin worked there full time.
But you knew you were
And
coming back.
yeah, I always wanted to come back. Always. I loved the
In
big city.
actual DC, or were you like Virginia or Maryland?
No, we lived in Georgetown.
Oh, got it. Okay. Did you ever go to Mr. Smith's? It's like a piano bar.
No, no, I know where it is, but no. Mm-mm.
My favorite piano bar. But go ahead.
Yeah. We did a lot though. Loved it there. Definitely like jumped into the DC life and had a lot of fun with that.
Right.
But then right before we had kids, we officially moved back together. And then my company at that time was like really taking off. And more so after having kids, I felt like I had more drive than ever after having my daughter. So business just really picked up and my team grew steadily. So it's always like continually grown because to be able to do what I do, I have to have a team. And especially all the weekend work now, they mostly take the weddings now.
Got it. And so, listener, if you don't know, we'll get there. But Coley owns her own wedding and event planning company, and it's not just like some little small organization. She has grown it. How many years now have you been doing this for?
Like 18 years.
Ooh,
18
baby.
years, and you've been featured
Yeah.
in many national publications, on news channels, and you're a big deal. You're like, whether you know that or not, you're kind of a big deal, which is amazing. But let me ask you, like, did you know when you were growing up that that would be something that you want? Like, were you always like, oh, I want to do that. That's what I want to do. Like, did it start that way?
No, no, not at all. I think my parents were always really business minded. So I've always been around that. And then really the start of it was when I was in college, I taught yoga and I had a really great following. Like I would get like 50 people in this bike shop in college. And it was crazy. And then I'd ride my bike home after teaching. And I think I charged like $5 a class back then. And
Yeah.
but I had a really, really strong following. And it was really fun. And it was, being in a college town, I could play like crazy loud music and turn all the lights off. And it was like really hot. And it
Yeah.
was really wild and fun and great. And so I got a really good following. And then my last semester of college, I just had like kind of a vision that I wanted to open a yoga studio. And that was kind of my first start of being like, definitely people wouldn't rent to me, young female, right out of not I wasn't even out of college at the time. And I remember my mom came up a lot, my dad came up to help, and then I finally had someone rent to me, and it was in a historic building downtown, which was really great. And then I had other space in there too, so I started the studio and immediately had a following, and it was kind of like this little cult following back in the day. And it was great and amazing and something I could never recreate again, but just so great that I did then. And then we would open it up. I had multiple teachers. I had massage therapists and acupuncturists. And then we would have like wine tastings and art openings because it was such an artsy town, anyways. And it was right downtown in Gainesville
Yeah.
in this great old building. And yeah, we did weekend workshops. So that really got my interest in events started.
It's so interesting because I think back to when that was, and that was the beginning of social media where people were posting stuff out there. So to have not much of a following, it really was that grassroots of like how did you start that? You had you started just teaching the bicycle shop and two people were there. It didn't go from, 50 right away. How did you do that? What was
Yeah.
that
I mean,
magic?
this was like Facebook was just starting.
Yeah, I
Which
remember.
I mean, I still literally had AOL because I remember buying my first house in Gainesville and walking in the door and hearing you've got mail. Like that's
I
how
still have it.
He does.
this
It's still
was.
around here.
Still has it. It's so I can't.
It was 100% grassroots, and this was just such a neat time, which is why I was saying like I could never recreate it. So like grassroots, scrappy, but I know I didn't start. I mean, it kind of took off pretty quickly. I have to say, if I put my mind something to something, it's like usually gonna work out pretty well. I would have people take free yoga classes and I would make flyers and then have them print, they would get printed and they would go on their bikes in Gainesville and they would hang them on like poles and in businesses. And yeah, I remember spending so much time at in the office store. We had a local one right by us. I'd ride my bike there, print all the copies for all the events. And I mean, I guess we do Facebook, but that was also like as Facebook was just starting. It
Yeah.
wasn't really to market. It was really just a truly like friends
Sure.
connecting.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, no, it was flyers. It
It
was
was
definitely,
guerrilla marketing.
It was 100%. Well, and it's so funny
yeah,
because like you also were doing that before yoga was cool, right? And not
yeah.
yoga, like my dad's in yoga my whole life. But what
Nicole, are you still practicing?
Yeah, I do still practice. I mean, not as much, but I do. I do practice. Yes.
what got you into yoga to begin with? Was that something that started when you were younger in college? When did that start?
Right, my freshman year of college, when I was 18, I just started taking classes and like loving it. Definitely loving more the physical aspects than the spiritual aspect. And then I started going to, I'm sure they still do it, but they had like all the big yoga journal workshops I would do. So with like all the famous yoga instructors. And it was such a vibe and an energy. And I loved it. And then I would learn all this stuff and take all these workshops. Like I go to New York, I'd go all over. And then I'd come back and then I just teach it. And I did it like a yoga teacher training and things like that. And I had a mentor, but I don't know, it just like really clicked and I loved it. And I loved the vibe being in that town too.
Yeah.
And then when I moved, I sold the studio and I moved back to Sarasota. I did try and teach again, but just like being in a college town and what went there was so different than here. And I remember my first couple classes, people would be like, your music's really loud. Could you it's like I would play like drum and bass because that was like so popular back then, like Thievery Corporation and all this stuff. And it just didn't translate at all. So I
Funny.
decided to leave my teaching days behind and leave it on a high note.
Is the studio still open in Gainesville?
No, it's not. I had sold it. I don't know how long it stayed open for, but it was a
Got it.
great time. If anyone went to Silver Lotus back in the day.
I love that. And then at that time, were you and Dustin dating then as well too?
Yeah, we started dating when I was like almost 18 and then went off and on all through college.
Got it. So then you moved back to Sarasota, and what was your what were you gonna do when you moved back?
I worked for Madison's culinary group for Paul Madison, who was great, and I learned so much. And we did a ton of events, and I mean, it was different, a little different back then too. Sarasota is still really event driven, but it was more like you'd set up a food station, and
Sure.
really different times then too. So I learned so much, and then he had restaurants in St. Pete, so I was going up there. I opened restaurants with him. It was such a great way to learn. And he's amazing too, and has such energy and passion for the business. And as if anyone knows, if they're in the restaurant business, even though I was doing marketing, you do everything.
Yeah.
So you're like setting up all the events and lugging things and serving food and doing whatever you need to do. And they, a lot of weddings then and events. So it was a great way to get into the industry.
I love it. I remember we did a couple events together. You guys worked, we had worked together, and I remember just seeing you running around. And I was like we hired you guys, and you were running around, and I was running around, and it was just all of that work ethic that I feel like doesn't always exist today. I
Mhm.
think you're very similar to where there's really no work hours. You just do the work to get it done, and that's what you do. But that's really changed, I think, today, where people aren't as willing to just do the work to get stuff done. Like you said, you do every single role, right? I feel like sometimes you see now people like, well, that's not really my responsibility. And I feel like we were raised maybe in that last generation, hopefully not. I'm trying to teach my daughter that, and I'm sure you're teaching your kids that, but that there's no really like defined lane. Like you just do everything to help each other out. Would you agree that's kind of changed? Have you seen that change a little bit?
Well, not really in my industry because that's just we're a team and the girls that work for me, I have an all-female team. They're amazing. Like they'll do whatever they need to do to get it done. So I'm not so much around that. And especially my industry is so much of a team effort to make someone stay so special
Yeah.
that not necessarily what you're in the wrong industry if that's what
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know how you feel. It's still so also like restaurant industry driven. It's service, at the end of the day. And that's how I grew up. I grew up in restaurants. So that background really helped me. But really, truly, the people, all the girls that work for me are really, really hands on. They do whatever they need to do. So that's great. I'm very fortunate for that.
I love that. So you grew up doing all that stuff, and then you were like, all right, I've got this under my wing. I want to do my own thing. And after, the restaurant and the Whole Foods, you decided to open up your own business, right? How old were you when you did that? Well, actually, you don't have to
Uh,
say that because you said it's been 18 years, so we don't have to do that.
yeah,
You don't want to.
yeah.
But
I
that's
was young.
like,
I was in my 20s.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's a
Um,
big decision.
yeah, but it like happened so naturally. That's kind of how everything has worked for me. Everything right has worked for me. I just had this kind of vision that there was not a planner in our market like me, like someone, I mean, I was in my 20s then, and I thought that other brides would find that very relatable. And I already had all the industry connections. So I said, I'm going to open an event planning company. Mentioned it to a chef who I knew. And he was like, I'm meeting with the bride. The next week, I had my first client.
Wow.
And
What's the name of the company?
then it was, well, it's Christian Hirschman was the chef. And what was the name of his company? I forgot, but he's a great chef. He's still around. And we did yeah, wedding together. And I mean, it was totally different back then. It was just me. Sometimes my mom would help me. It was
Yeah.
really, really different, but weddings were different 18 years ago too.
Yeah. Were you married at the time or was that before you got married?
No, I was married then.
So that's like a decision when you're thinking about, you're talking about your career and like taking that jump. And I think it's really important for people to hear that maybe are in your same shoes, they're in their 20s or in their 30s or 50s, and they're thinking about starting their own business.
Yeah.
That, at that time in your life, you didn't have any children yet, right? You started it before you had children. Is
Oh,
that
yeah. Yeah. Well before. Yeah. hmm
Oh, that's like a big decision for a couple to make that, believe me, I get it because I have my own business as well too. And it's like, all right, I'm
Yeah.
going to do this. How did that kind of work its way out to make that happen?
I mean, I think it was really helpful that having a partner who had a career in insurance and, all that too, even though I was super motivated, it did really help me take a leap that we'll see how it goes. I don't really know. I didn't have to rely on having my own insurance and, all of that too. And I have business minded parents that help a lot, and that was the way I was raised. So owning a business to me is very natural. And then it just worked that I knew everybody in the industry and being able to get clients right away. I said at the beginning, and people still remind me of this, it's really funny. I'm going to do like 10 weddings a year and that's it. And it's just going to be me. And then we have such a good market here and it's just grown and grown. And it's been, I mean, now we're up to like 75 a year. So
75 weddings a year.
the weddings and events. Yeah.
We also have we a destination location too, or no?
Yeah, this is a huge destination
Hmm.
location. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, but it just organic. It did really like naturally happen. And then as I needed to bring in team members, I did. And that was a huge transition for me because I was starting to think, and I didn't have kids until I had SD, my daughter, when I was 33. I had no interest in having kids before then. I was definitely very career focused and social and, all this stuff. So when I had her, though, I want to keep growing. Like I had a huge desire to continue to grow my business. But how do you do that with kids? And it actually, I mean, it was really amazing, I have to say. I mean, I had her, I was back at work 2 days later, but that's just how it worked for me. And I was okay with that. I don't feel like I missed out on anything. I've
Wow.
always had help. I mean, I'm definitely not one to say that I haven't because I have. And I think that it should be said more and you should talk about it more. And I've had so many people ask me how I did it having kids.
You
And
don't even know. You just did it. You just did it.
I did it, but I also asked for help. And I think that's really, really important. There's no way I could be having a conversation with clients in meetings and like having a baby on the floor, like, playing. It's not how it works for me in my industry. I'm 100% focused when I'm with my clients.
Oh,
And
your question, did you offer both a full service all events or also any a la carte where they could maybe pick their own band and you would do some of the other stuff?
mostly it's been full planning for the most part, but we definitely have had other packages as we've grown. And then post COVID, I stopped and only did full planning because post COVID we were managing like 5 events a weekend. So we couldn't handle anything else. But then once we got through that, which was like 2 years of post weddings, that we were managing 3 to 5 weddings a weekend easily. I think some of those years we probably bumped up to like almost 100 events a year. And then once we got through that, I added back in because I have this amazing team that's incredible. So we do what we call day of planning, which is really month of planning, partial planning, and full planning. Full planning is still the bulk of what we do, but it's great. We have other services for clients that need different things. So we're able to offer a lot, which is really good.
Before we conclude this episode of What's Your Story,
I mean,
will,
close.
will you grace us with one crazy story? Like we went to a wedding up in New York. The bride and groom flew in a helicopter, and
Oh,
during a dance sequence, there was a fist fight between the two families on the floor.
What wedding was that?
Oh, it's crazy stuff. It was like
Okay.
I,
Sorry.
I'm talking knockdown, drag out. So hopefully, before we finish, you can tell us
yeah.
not a negative disaster story, but something that may pique our interest, remember you more than we would normally remember you.
We'll save that for the end.
No, she's committing. Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
Probably
Wedding
can't.
planners don't, we don't tell.
Yeah, I'm like, I probably can't either. It's kind
We
of like
keep
I
all the secrets.
yeah, but still.
The
So,
craziest, it's weather. It's the craziest.
Weather, yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, we live in
right?
Florida.
Yeah, we had that for our wedding.
Yeah, I mean we try and mitigate things as much as possible, but if I could help predict the weather, my job would be so much easier.
It was set up fully
And,
outside with chairs and
Yeah.
everything's outside. All of a sudden, it's not around. We were crazy.
and where was that, Jamie?
University Park Country Club.
Okay. Yeah, and it started raining, but then were you able to have the ceremony and everything?
Everything was moved inside. It actually turned out really being very beautiful. It all
Memorable,
came
Yeah.
down.
memorable.
It was all by candlelight, and then my brother-in-law's iPad. That's part of our video. It was totally fine. Like I think when you get married later in life, like we got married and I was in my late 30s and my husband was early 40s. I think you just don't care as much. Maybe not, but I didn't care as much. It was like it wasn't
Yeah.
about the wedding as it was about having the people that you love in the room. So we didn't care as much, but I think that just depends on the bride too, I guess, because I've seen weddings for all different sorts of things. But that was just us. We didn't care about the wedding. We just wanted the people there in the room. But anyway, I digress.
I could
Yeah.
have saved all that money.
Anyway,
Crap.
so that's a lot. So balancing building up a business and then having two small children and being married, all that's a lot. How do you, and I know you said you just did it, but what are
Yeah.
some secrets that you have that helped you do that? Obviously asking for help, you said.
Yeah.
What else, helped you navigate that? Because there must have been other challenges that came up, in life as well.
Well, I think having younger kids, it's easier to work on the weekends too, because they're not expecting you to be at like baseball games and dance recitals. They don't have that. So actually building my business so much every year when they were younger was actually easier because on the weekends you're not doing all the stuff. Like they're home, they're napping, they're doing that. So I just said this recently to someone, having kids and having them younger when you're really out there hustling to me was really helpful. Then when I had my daughter, I had two girls that worked for me. I mean, I had a team, but they were in the office full time and they would help me a lot. They were, I mean, amazing. And they would help me and they would, she would nap and I had a nanny in the mornings, but then they would get her up in the afternoon. They pick her up when she started school. That was like immensely helpful. And they helped raise her truly. And then it transitioned when I had my son too. But having people around me to help. I mean, I remember being on conference calls with the baby nursing and you just do what you have to do. And having my career was always super, super important to me, but I've always had a nanny, always, or help in the house. I think that that's really important to say. And I don't think there should be judgment because I had so many people in my industry ask me how I did it. And they're literally trying to do it all themselves. And I'm like, well, you can't be dedicated then. It just doesn't work like that. It didn't for me anyways. So I've always had help. A big trick I've always had is I've had someone come in and do my laundry, which is
Um,
extremely helpful. I preach that to people working. It takes up so much time. And like for me, I love to cook. That's something that's really important to me. At the end of the day, when I'm done working, I want to cook. I enjoy that. We sit down together as a family. So to me, that's a priority. So I'll put that as a priority over doing other things that I don't enjoy as much, like doing laundry.
I love that. And it
Yeah,
sounds like, I mean, I know you guys have been together since you were about 17.
off
You
and on.
know,
Yeah.
yeah.
hmm
So you end up marrying your high school sweetheart
hmm
and built a life together. You've been married how many years now?
23.
Wow, that's a long
Yeah.
time. So you've navigated, starting a business. You said you
Yeah.
moved, you have two kids. There probably were other challenges in your life that you both had to face together as well, too. So how, how has that been being together for so long? Like tell us a little bit about, how you maintain that and stay together for 23 years
She
with all
planned
of
it.
those
She
stuff.
planned it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's and obviously Dustin is a huge help. He's extremely supportive of my business. He knows that I'm really driven and it's okay that I sometimes will put that in front of other things and he's okay with that. He's super supportive. He's helpful. We don't work together at all. He's always had his own career and he has a great career. He's gotten busier through the years as the kids have gotten older. So that's been a little bit more of an adjustment because before he was a surgical rep, so he was in surgery, so he'd be done with his day sometimes like 3:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And then that was really helpful because then he could kind of take like the early evening shift while I'm finishing up work. That was always really helpful. Now it's different. He definitely works longer hours, but the kids are older now.
Yeah.
And I do still have help. I mean, again, I'm not going to venture to say that like I am cleaning my house and cooking and like doing all that by myself. I have an amazing team. I have 13 girls on my team, and they're amazing, incredible. I like cannot say how good they are. But then I have help around the house as well, and that just keeps me doing what I love to do and takes all the other stuff away. But Dustin is super helpful. He's very hands on with the kids. I mean, especially at night now, their homework, like I don't understand it. They've
Same,
outpaced I
same. I'm
remind
like,
them
do
that
the math.
I own a successful business, guys, but I can literally not do third grade math at this point.
Yeah, same.
I could do accounting, but some of the math and stuff, I'm like, I don't think I ever learned that. I don't know. I wasn't a great student. I'm good in business. I'm scrappy, but I was not a studious kid at all. I graduated from UF. I don't know how, but I did.
Oh,
And he's really good at like we ping pong at night a lot so we can do what we need to do and he's really good at homework and really good at getting up early in the morning. That is not my strong suit. So he's up at 5, he makes coffee and tea every morning, he goes to work out and we take the kids to school every morning together. I mean,
oh.
whenever we're both in town, that's something that we made a point to do a couple years ago. We have a golf cart and we golf cart the kids to school every morning together.
That's really special. I think that makes a big difference. You don't see that happen a lot anymore. And you said you have dinner together every night and you sit down, and that's huge. Where does that come from for you both to want to be able to do that?
I mean, I always had dinner with my family growing up. That was always something that we did. If it wasn't at home, it was in my parents' restaurants. Like we always did that. And food for us is really important. Like that's very grounding to our family. I that is my therapy at night when I can just like decompress and cook dinner. It's really important for me to feed our family and be healthy. So that just focuses around, the table. I mean, last night it was, eating tacos around the counter together because I had an event last night and I left the house at 7 to go do that. And that's just what we had to do. But, it worked and got to be together for that time. So it doesn't always like sitting down to a formal meal, but probably a lot more than what I make it a very elaborate dinner. And Dustin's like, do some people do one pot dinners? Because I have not mastered that.
Which restaurants did you folks own?
A bunch growing up locally. They had Riley's, Stickney Point Fishery. They had, which was around for a really long time. They had a couple restaurants off of University and then a bunch up north.
Is that where your love of cooking came from, watching your family cook at the restaurants, or where do you think?
Probably. Yeah. And now, I mean, I'm around food all the time. Like
Yeah.
that's a huge part of what I do. So, and we love to travel. Like that's really important to us and taking our kids away. So yes, always. I mean, I remember cooking in college. Like I never did the takeouts and like, I remember making like dinners for our friends all through college. So yeah, that's always been really important to me.
What would you say has been the biggest challenge in your professional or personal life?
Oh gosh. Hurricanes?
Well, there you go. Okay. Professionally or personally, both?
Both.
Both.
Yeah. Yeah,
What?
I mean, even this year, thinking about what we went through last year, I would say that was even worse than
No,
COVID.
it doesn't work that way.
Knock on wood, we're all good.
My daughter literally said this morning, we haven't had a storm yet this year. We're both like, shut, shut. We didn't say that to her,
Yeah,
but
no, knock on
yeah,
wood, good
yeah, yeah,
vibes to the
yeah,
world on that. But That was, I mean, COVID was very, very challenging with work because I couldn't help it. And a lot of people held us very accountable for what was going to happen next. And that was a really hard place to be in. Um, and during that time, do I wish I could have just taken the time off and enjoyed it with my family? I do, but I didn't. It was a super stressful time because we wanted the best for our clients. We wanted the best for our vendors. Like watching vendors not making any money during that time was really, really hard. And then clients not have their dream day. It was very, very challenging. And we were really stuck in the middle of that.
Mhm.
But being in Florida, we were on a better side than most. So we tried to look at the bright side, but that was a really, really challenging time. And then post hurricane, I mean, I've moved probably 100 weddings in my career, and that's tough.
Yeah, that's well, just from damage and from the storms and inside, outside, and all of it. I bet, imagine all the above.
Yeah.
What do you do? Listen, you've got a million moving parts every day, right? Up to 75 weddings. You've got two small children, a husband, a team of 13. I know you sometimes get to yoga, but what do you do now to keep yourself grounded and not to like cause yourself to primarily scream every day at just the world?
Yeah, no, I feel overall really good. Again, like I have great people around me and I have an amazing team. I have an awesome husband. I have family, my mom, my dad, my in-laws, my everybody around me is amazing and very, very helpful. And then other layers besides that, feeding my family, eating really healthy is really important. I need energy all day long, and I have a lot of energy, I have to say. That's just something in me. I don't know. And then, I mean, my friends, I have wonderful friends that I love so much, and we love to be social. So that's really great. But I think things that like truly ground me, I work out typically every day. I walk a lot also, because there's definitely times that by the end of the day, even if I've worked out, I need to walk and I just need to like, com- decompress. And Dustin and I will walk a lot together too. And that's been really, really helpful. I do yoga and I just try and overall stay really healthy, and that helps things a lot. But then I'm definitely a work hard, play hard. I like to have fun. I go out a lot. I love my friends. I like to be social. So I don't,
You're an only
I
child?
don't chill a lot.
Oh, you have siblings?
I do. I have a brother. I talk to him every day. He's great and he's in business too. So we have a very business minded family.
I love it. What advice would you give to others that are looking to start their own business in
Don't.
today's world?
Don't.
Gosh. I mean, I think you got to put the work in. I worked for a lot of people before I did this, and I think that's really important. So, a lot of, people coming out that will just start something, like you have to put the work in. You have to work for people that know more. And I think that's important. But then also, like on the flip side, being a business owner, I feel like I've been able to stay current in an industry that changes a lot because I have really smart young people around me, and I'm love to learn from them, and they're amazing and they tell me a lot and they do a lot. So I think, it can definitely be, I learn from them a lot too.
In the social strata, has the desire of the different types of weddings changed dramatically in the past 20 years?
Oh yeah, for sure. Social media.
From what to
Yeah.
what? From big to small to more average or
More, all of it. Yeah. Bigger budgets, more details,
hmm,
just over the top, beautiful. It's an extension of people's personalities.
Yeah.
And the most, for the most part, the most memorable day in their life if you want to have a family. I mean, I think that watching these families come together and friends come together, it's a whole weekend now, typically. There's multiple events, and I just think it's incredible to be able to have all the people you love together in one space, and they're so fun.
what percent are second timers?
For us, I'd say maybe like 20% or so.
And still as big of as an extravagant wedding as the first time.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
But
Yeah,
no,
for different reasons.
no
Mhm.
white second time around?
Oh,
Right.
white dress. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You can wear a white dress. Yeah.
That's okay.
That's old.
That's all.
That's old
So am
news.
I.
Yeah. Just
Yeah.
wear red to a wedding, apparently, right? Is that
Why?
what I don't know. I heard someone just told me that if you wear red to a wedding, it's like you had something with the groom. Is that a true thing?
Oh, I haven't heard that.
What is the biggest budget you've ever had someone spend? I don't know if you can share that or not, but just curious,
Not
like,
mentioning names.
no, not names.
No, I would definitely never say names, but budgets, I mean, I've been up into 1 million, we've seen that before.
Most elaborate location.
I mean, we work at kind of the same locations over and over. So it's just what you do at the locations. But I mean, in general, the locations here are amazing. Having like Ringling, the Ritz, we work at Gasparilla Inn all the time in Boca Grande, Lombo Key Club, St. Regis, Selby, Bay Preserve, all those venues. It depends what you do with them. But budgets, we've brought in a lot of national acts too. So that can, really put a budget up very quickly if you're bringing in a national touring act, which is super fun, by the
Like,
way.
can you give us an example of somebody you brought in for a wedding or no?
I mean, not really, because it kind of gives it a lot away, but definitely national touring artists multiple
Do
times.
people still desire that wedding in the sand on the beach?
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Sometimes we don't do a lot of toes in the sand, but a lot like overlooking the beach, because then you kind of get the best of both. But sometimes, I mean, yeah, sometimes like the Ritz has a beach, Gas Berlin has a beach, St. Regis,
Wow.
Lombo Key Club, but there's not like a ton of beach venues either. So
What's next for you?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, definitely continuing to do what we do, more, bigger, better, all of that. But I still think there's a lot more out there too. So we'll see. Something, I'm sure.
And then how much does like I know you've got a daughter and a son, do they say they want to have their own business watching you do this? Like is there influence there? Like they're at the age now where they're starting to say what they want to be when they grow up. So do you
Yeah.
think they want to be an entrepreneur as well?
Also we're building a house right now too. So
Oh,
that is a focus, which has been really fun and we've loved that. But
in
that
the
is
same area or somewhere else? You don't have to
yeah,
disclose it.
right next door actually. We have a
Oh,
lot next
very
door.
cool.
Yeah, on the creek. So it's been really fun and we've really, really enjoyed that process. So that's been a great thing. And it's great. We get to walk over every day. So
I mean, I've seen pictures of your yard online. Your yard that you have
yeah.
is spectacular. I hope that you have the same kind of place in your new home.
Well, that new home is on that property. So we don't
Oh,
have that.
got it.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go.
Which worked out. It was definitely meant to be. It was a good decision. So my kids, I mean, I don't know. They kind of vary. I mean, my son's 8, so he wants to be like a police officer or like whatever it is, day to day. I think my daughter wants to be like an influencer and a dancer. So I don't know.
Who
They've
doesn't?
been around me. I mean, she's been to a ton of my weddings. He's been to my, weddings before. So, and Dustin's really motivated with his career too. Like my mom still works, my dad still works. So they're around, that a lot. They see the girls that work for me every day, so they're around it. So hopefully it trickles into what they want to do, but I don't know. They're still too young.
I love it though, but you're such a good example to show them that you can build and create anything that you want to create based on your beginning with the yoga studio and then coming and doing this now for the last 18 years. I think it's such an awesome influence and example of what you can do. So I love it.
We're
Yeah.
ready for the story, Nicole.
She can't share. She said
She
hurricanes.
can tell something.
It,
Fun.
No,
and
it's
it's
like
that
Vegas.
we've had, it's really been, I have to say, I mean, overall, our clients are pretty amazing. Truly. I feel
Underall.
like it's who you
Underall.
attract.
We're not,
Leave
we're
her
not quick
alone.
story. Something,
No.
I mean,
something out of your
we've
control.
had a wedding that and the client always makes a decision on the weather. It's not my decision, it's their decision. I mean, we've definitely had weddings that it's rained and it sometimes when it's not supposed to rain at all, or they just went for it and it wasn't the best, but we've had weddings that it's rained and the band has had to, sorry, I was getting the call. The band has had to pick up and leave because you can't have a band get wet. They'll get electrocuted. So those are tough.
Remember,
Those are,
Yeah. Well, she deals with people
yeah,
on like some of the most emotional days of their life.
yeah,
Tuesdays.
Yeah, you're
Tuesdays.
dealing with a lot of emotion every day. I'm just thinking about just stories that you just hear in general. People are emotional for all different types of reasons on wedding days. So I can only imagine how that is to balance that and
yeah.
navigate as well.
What percent daytime weddings versus evening weddings?
All of them are evening.
Okay.
Yeah,
You get married again? You're still married now.
Some
yeah.
divorce,
If you were, maybe daytime, but no,
divorce
mostly. I mean,
planning
we've had
also.
a couple brunch.
You divorce planning too?
Yeah, divorce parties.
I have nope. Don't do anything with that.
But you
We're
would have requested?
we're in the business of love.
I like
And
it. Stick there. We
we
need more
stick to
of
that. We stick to that.
that.
Yeah.
Is she an avatar?
No, she's
It keeps us
incredible.
it keeps us busy enough. So
I
we'll
love it.
we'll stick to love.
And the world needs more of that.
Mhm.
So amazing.
Yeah.
Well, I
Key the
love it.
music. Key the music.
Yeah. Thank you. I know you're so
Oh,
busy.
you're welcome.
And this is your season. So you are certainly even busier now than ever. So thank you for setting some time aside to see us. I can't believe that we don't get out much over here. We're living like, so listener, we live in like different parts of town, but I don't
Yeah.
have to get out much. And if we do, everyone kind of feels like they stay in their bubble, right? Everyone kind of stays in their bubble. So I'm sorry I haven't seen you out, but hopefully I will. I love watching all the stuff on social media, seeing everything that you're doing. And I just think you're awesome. So
And since I'm a 13-person female team, feel free to shred my application.
I know. Sorry, you didn't make the cut, but
oh, it'll be okay. I think
thank you for including me.
1-900 divorces us.
Actually, your next
you.
person you interview, you can do a one side and the other side.
That's
No,
what
I'm good with love only.
Now, when you were practicing, you were teaching yoga. Was it before the Bikram phase, the heat yoga deal, or no?
No, I taught hot yoga, and I will tell you, my yoga practice helps with wedding planning. Definitely do some breathing,
I
staying
went
calm.
this morning at 6
Really,
a.m.
really helped.
Yeah, it is. Yoga has saved my life many times. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you guys for including me. It was really fun.
Yeah. All right. Good to see you.
Okay.
All right,
Bye.
bye.
You
too.
Bye. Yeah. So interesting. I love it.
For the down and dirty, you keep pushing me back.
No, she is a professional. She's not going to share with you some crazy
I
story.
can work it out of it. Come on, there's always stuff there. Our people want to know.
No, but it's so cool. Like there's so many different, and like we never know where the conversation's going to go to. We lean more obviously into the professional side of what she does, but I think there's a story there as well that, I love what she said is that study other people that know what they're doing. I love how she came back to talking about ask for help. And I know that not everybody can always afford to have certain help, but just asking friends sometimes for help and saying, hey, you know what? Can you help me pick up my kids at school? Can you help me, do this project? Like whatever it is, we don't ask for help enough. And I love that she's an advocate for that. I think that's huge. So,
And that's your story.
and that's her story.
That's your story, too.
Yeah,
Okay.
sure. Okay.
It's fine.
Thanks, listener, for listening. Until next time, if you want to be a guest or know someone that should be a guest, reach out to us at connect@JamieMarco, JAIMEMARCO.com, and we will see you next time.
And remember, these podcasts are online forever. Let's make you legendary. Tell us your story. Your grandkids will see it. Your pets will see it. Everybody will see it.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
and we don't even. It's gratis.
Yeah, I love it. All right. I'm going to go send my welcome card to somebody. Bye.
Hey, thank you for tuning into today's What's Your Story podcast.
To learn more or share your story, go to jamiemarco.com. That's www.JAIMEMARCO.com. And we will see you next time.